You also made a plan that younger players need to be given a break so that the even India coach I think complained that he's not getting a set of players to pick them from, like a set of strikers, because they don't really get an opportunity when they are with the clubs because the foreigners play. So what is the road ahead? What has the coach recommended? India coach recommended?
Well, he agreed with us that we need to reduce the foreigners, because he says that many of my players in the first 11 are not getting enough of match practice.
Right.
And it's true. If you look at the strikers, you look at the centre backs, in many positions, the players are not getting match practice. Now, but one thing good, we need to encourage younger players. The AIFF made it compulsory for under 23 players to play, but we need to ensure that they play longer. They spend more time on the pitch rather than on the bench.
I think it was ridiculous that one of the clubs put a under 23 player out and substituted him immediately just to hoodwink the authorities.
Yes, yes.
The club should have a will, isn't it?
Yes, they should. They should encourage. Look, when I was the secretary and we introduced the under 20 rule, there was a lot of opposition from the coaches, but it's the club presidents who backed me. And the rule was fantastic. It gave us great results. Next year, the coaches changed mind and said, yes, we want more. We want to encourage more of these under 20 players. So I think a lot depends on the coach's attitude.
Coaching education was also of major discussion. So what are the difficulties that Indian football is facing because of less focus on coach education?
Look, in a country like in India, we need to have a coaching course practically every fortnight in some of the states. Like a big state in a country like Bihar or UP, you require a lot of coaching programs. Otherwise, you're not going to produce coaches. Even in Goa, I know we used to have a lot of coaching courses, but recently they've reduced. And nowadays, there's a shortage of coaches because GFDC have been employing a lot of coaches and they're not getting qualified coaches.
Right.
So we insisted that we should come out with a program for the full year, and we need to have a lot more coaching courses around the country. C level, B level, A level, because the success rate also of coaches is not excellent. I mean, a lot of coaches don't succeed, some drop out. It's like in every profession.
Right.
So, we need to have a lot more coaching courses. So they've asked us to draw up our schedule. So Henry Menezes is in charge of that, while I will be looking after the various academies in the country.
Overall, how many academies are there?
Well, there's one in Mumbai, there's one in Goa, and now we have planned to start. And one was supposed to start in Bangalore.
Are these elite academies?
They're different age groups,
Okay.
Yeah. Now they have a plan to start a number of academies. So I would be looking after the progress and monitoring these academies.
Is the coach or the technical director, Rob Ban, happy about the way things are going? Is there a lot of cause for concern?
No, he is not too happy with the way things are going, and he had come out with a roadmap for Indian football. Unfortunately, it's now his contract is over, and the roadmap has not been implemented. But we are hoping, we've asked the AIFF to give him an extension and ensure that his plan is implemented at least this year. It's a very good plan, and I think we can get results. But at the same time, Robert Barnes says he cannot spend much time in India, so he's going to be here just like for 10 days in 3 months, which I think is not very exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things the Rob Ban and Wim Koeman's regime wanted to do is get all the clubs to follow a certain system of playing, the formations, the style of playing. Is that plan really being followed by the clubs?
Well, they would like such a plan to be put in place, but sometimes it's difficult, with the coaches, and especially the foreign coaches, because they are not looking at the interests of the country, but they're looking more at the interests of their club.
Right.
Yeah. So I know a similar discussion was happened in South Africa, where they wanted to come out with a common coaching program plan, for all the clubs. Well, you can't say whether it'll work out or how successful it'll be, but because in a vast country like this, and when you have coaches from different countries have different systems.
Right. What were the other points that were discussed for the overall long-term benefit of Indian football?
We discussed, we had around a marathon meeting of 5 hours, but really we could not come out with, we needed to meet every 3 months to, discuss on certain issues.
Yeah.
Like one of the problems we discussed was competitions. Now, the AIFF says they are spending nearly 70% of their budget on competitions. Now,
competitions across all age groups.
Yes, age groups, Santosh
senior,
Trophy,
okay.
the I League.
Right.
Like the I League, I know it's a huge figure, the Federation Cup. And so, unfortunately, the competition committee didn't meet a fortnight before us, but they never applied their mind to it, I think. I think we need to come out with a different format of Santosh Trophy. And some tournaments we might need to have it once in 2 years, like how AFC have their tournaments, once in 2 years, because it's no point having a tournament if the clubs don't train sufficiently to participate in that tournament. Like at the meeting, Scott brought it to my notice. He says, I was in Goa and I read on the newspaper trials for the under-16 team, and that was just about 10 days before the tournament could commence. So he says, if Goa is going to do this, what about other states? Right. So and I said, okay, we need to come out with guidelines. Like AFC, they ask you for the registration of players 6 months before the tournament commences, which means you have shortlisted around 30-35 players. So we need to come out, we strict about it, about preparations for the nationals. And we also recommended that we want to come out with a plan, do's and don'ts for state associations, like we need to make it compulsory for state associations to participate in women's tournaments and girls tournaments and in certain competitions, have their state championships, have their age group championships. Well, many of the states don't have any tournaments.
Yes.
So some of the state associations don't even have offices.
Right.
So we are going to work on this recommendation, which we are going to present to the executive committee.
Looking back, do you think there is at least some percent of improvement in this point? Because I think we had had a similar discussion. We had made a point that some of the state associations don't even have their offices. So do you think there is any improvement?
Well,
have you seen new offices?
I have not seen any improvement, no improvement. The AIFF said all the state associations must change their constitution. It's only GFA and now recently Kerala.
All right.
None of the states, even the states belonging to the vice presidents of AIFF are not changing their constitution.
Right.
So
that's the state of affairs of football. Have you all discussed about scrapping some competitions?
Two opinions on the Santosh trophies. They want to. Some want to scrap it, some want to have it, but I think the senior clubs are not playing that many matches, I think that's not an issue now because they play around about 30-35 matches which in a year, which is I think is okay. It's not a problem.
Right.
It's not a problem. We need to have more matches at the junior level. You can't have a competition where like a junior team plays just 3 or 4 matches. Now today the Goa team is playing in the under-16. They're playing every day without a break. They played yesterday, they played the day before yesterday, they're playing today again. How can you expect those under-16 boys to play every day without a break? And they're going to be playing for the next few days every day.
So more thought needs to be applied to their calendar.
You should not organize a competition just for the sake of organizing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should do it with a purpose.
Another problem that affects the Indian football is of overage players coming to the age group tournaments, and probably even the AIFF, Scott O'Donnell faced a problem while screening the boys for their academy. So what is the plan to counter the problem of overage players? That's
one of the points we're going to raise in do's and don'ts for state associations. If you don't field a team, you should be punished. If you field a team and you have overage players also, you should be punished, and strict action should be taken. Things like those members should not be allowed to be in the AIFF executive committee.
Absolutely.
Or they should not be holding any post, or they should not be sent as managers of teams. They should be punished. But we have to be very strict. Otherwise, the game is never going to improve.
Goa is one state which had always fielded players in the correct age group, but recently we have read about some problems with Goan under 14 boys. What's the real fact of the matter?
I can't believe that a player in Goa would be overage. It's never happened in the last 20 years at least, and I don't think it'll ever happen, because in our state a child gets registered the day he's born, unlike
Yes.
other states. Now if it's migrant players coming in, and migrant players also, we take the precaution and we do an MRI before they represent the state.
Right.
Now unfortunately, there's a lot of confusion going on in Kalyani, a lot of confusion, and a boy who played last year in the under 13, and this year he has to be in the under 14, is being prevented from playing, the captain of the Goa team. Now why this idea of 1 year under 13, next year under 14, so that the boys remain together with the state team, they undergo a coaching process throughout the year, and if next year they play in the under 14. But now the captain of the Goa team, who was allowed to play last year under 13 team, is being prevented. They claim he's overage, which is, something's wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, this is probably the point that we could sum up this discussion on. This is a state of confusion in Indian football. It's like ever present, and that's what it is now. But we hope that the technical coaching and developmental committee, which you are a part of, gets the Indian football moving in the right direction in the time to come. Savio Messias, thank you for coming to the studio for this discussion.
My pleasure.
Thank you. That's all the time we have on the show. See you next week. Goodbye.